Welcome. Today's Tuesday, December 8th, 2020, and welcome to the regular board meeting of the San Benito CISD Board of Trustees, by video conference or telephone conference. And I call this meeting to order at exactly 6:19 p.m. Roll call. Ms. Weaver,
Present.
Ms. Silva, Ms. Corona,
Present.
Mr. Corona,
Present.
Ms. Yanes,
Present.
Ms. Lopez,
Present.
Mr. Moreno, Dr. Carmen,
Present.
Mr. Flores.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's move on to, so there's no public comment. Let's move on to consent agenda under Business and Finance 2.1. Request approval to accept gifts or bequests for the 2021 school year. Dr. Carmen.
So, Mr. Lopez, we have two requests to approve donations, one for Judge Oscar de la Fuente and one from Charlie Clark Nissan to La Paloma Elementary.
Okay.
For Judge Oscar de la Fuente, it's from the Rotary Club of San Benito, wanting to donate box turkey meal for a family of 4. And for La Paloma, it is $500 they want to donate for funds to be used to purchase gifts for pre-K classes.
Great. Question? Consent? Let's move on to 2.2. Request approval of the budget amendment for the 2021 school year. Dr. Carmen.
So we have one budget amendment request here from our CTE director, Mr. Rosa. He is looking at moving funds from the travel account to a supply account in the amount of $10,000.
Question?
I have a question.
Okay, question. Ms. Lopez. Okay, move on to 2.3. Request approval of the option to extend the proposal of professional consult service district-wide for an additional 1-year period. Dr. Carmen.
The recommendation here is to extend as discussed in committee.
Thank you, sir. Question? Consent? 2.4, request approval of the option to extend the proposal of meals or catering services district-wide for additional 1 year. Question? Consent. Let's move on to agenda item 3.3, consent agenda under administration. 3.1, request approval to a target for the target improvement plan tips for the 2021 school year. Question? Consent. 3.2, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between the San Benito CISD and the University of Texas at the Rio Grande Valley UTRGV School of Social Work for the 2021 school year. Question? Consent. 3.3, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and the Girl Scouts of the Greater South Texas for the 2021 school year. I got a question on that. 3.4, request approval of the agreement between San Benito CISD and the Prometric in-facility test center for the 2021 school year. Question? Consent. 3.5, request approval of revisions to the 2021 compensation plan. Question? Consent. 3.6, request approval of San Benito CISD implementation guidelines for the Texas K through 12 school system COVID-19 rapid test. Question?
Question.
3.7, request approval of board minutes. Question? Consent. Under consent agenda, can I have a motion to approve from 2.1 to 2.7 with the exception of 2.2, 3.3, and 3.6? Can I have a motion, please?
So
So
moved.
moved.
I got a motion by Mr. Moreno. Can I have a second, please? second by Ms. Weaver. All in favor with a show of hands, please. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the question under consent 2.2. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, I had a question on that one. The funds that are being used, what accounts are they coming from? Because I see 199 and 199, according to the chart y'all gave us here, 199 says local maintenance.
So we're going to be taking that out of our local funds. The reason that it's going to the board is because it is in function 11 and we're moving it to function 51 and the board approves budget at the function level. So we're using student travel and we're moving it over toward maintenance and operations so that we can do some upgrades on the City Brazil ag complex, some electrical wiring on there. So it does require board approval because it is out of function.
Okay, and another question on that, do these companies that we get this maintenance work done, do they provide us some kind of warranty or anything like that? If anything is wrong or incorrect or needs to be fixed, like, do they provide us a warranty for that?
I'm not sure on that, but I can find out.
I can say that our own maintenance department is doing these upgrades at the ag barn.
So our maintenance department is doing the upgrades that are being approved for the $10,000.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Alvarado.
Yes, of course.
Can I have a motion, please, to approve 2.2, Ms. Lopez?
Motion to approve?
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Lopez. Can I have a second, please? A second by Ms. Silva. All in favor with a show of hands? Motion carries. Thank you. And 2.3, I had a question, but it's pretty much a comment. I just wanted to thank our staff for the due diligence to get all the research. But it's I think it's a great idea, a great partnership, and it's very pleasing to see in the local media recently that the Girl Scouts gave an award to Harlingen ISD for the partnership. So it is successful, and it's great for our kids. I want to thank the staff and the after school program for going and rolling that out. I want to thank you guys so much. Can I have a second? I motion to approve. Can I have a second?
I still have a question on that, Mr. Lopez.
Okay.
First of all, I want to thank the staff and the counseling coordinator as well for looking into this and getting the research done and making sure that if and when this memorandum were to be approved, that there will be background checks. According to the last meeting that we had, there will be background checks on the staff that will be working from the Girl Scouts with our students. However, there is one question I know, and once again, I don't mean to drill on this, but as a mental health provider myself, I just want to make sure that I'm clear on this. On the memorandum of understanding, it does say, once again, it says that it's going to provide social skills and emotional skills for the kids. So I know that when we were presented this in the committee meeting, we were given a copy of the items that would be covered with the kids that had to do with academics, but we weren't given anything on the social skills. So I just wanted to ask one more time so that I can be clear if there's any curriculum or anything that will be used by the Girl Scouts to promote social skills, or if it's just the academic skills that will be provided.
Okay, I'll take that. I'm going to put on my mask because I do have my after school program director coming into my office to address this. She is listening to the meeting, and she is telling me here that so that the social and emotional skills that we're talking about are provided by peer, like the students working with each student, like the interaction. Me meeting students, meeting other students, getting to know each other. That's kind of that social part. It's really working mostly on the academic skills. No counseling at all.
Okay, wonderful. That was a question I had. Thank you for clarifying.
Absolutely. And I thank our after-school program director, Mrs. Casas, who's here with me.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Casas.
Thank you all once again. Can I have a motion, please, to approve? I got a
Motion.
motion by Ms. Weaver. Can I have a second? I got a second by Mr. Corona. All in favor with a show of hands? Thank you. Motion carries. 3.6, Ms. Lopez had a question.
Okay, on 2.6 on the COVID testing, my question on that was, there was a section on there that said that they can be tested if they have symptoms, or they can, my understanding is if they have symptoms, they can choose not to get tested. However, I want an explanation on that. Will those employees or will those students be asked to stay home until they get tested? Is that going to be a requirement or not? Because here, what I'm concerned about is, what if it's a student that just has the sniffles because they have allergies and that's normal to them, you know, or they have asthma, right? And so it doesn't necessarily mean that they may have COVID. And so I wanted to get some clarity on how situations like that will be handled.
I think
Good
we have Ms.
evening, board
Rodriguez
members
joining us.
and Dr. Carmen. Thank you for the question, Mrs. Lopez. We do in our return to school plan have all of that information outlined. In response to your question regarding a student that may have allergies or asthma, if we do have that health condition documented and their symptoms are consistent with that condition, then that student would be able to stay on campus at that time. However, if they are presenting with symptoms that are consistent with COVID-19, once we have our phased-in approach rolled out, then they will be given, or the parent will be given the opportunity to consent to the testing. However, for staff and students, it is completely optional. So if they choose not to do the testing and they do not follow up with their physician, then they would have to follow the 3-step criteria as outlined in our return to school plan. And the three-step criteria are that they are fever-free for 24 hours without the use of fever-reducing medications, that they have had improvement in symptoms, and that it has been 10 days have passed since their symptoms first appeared.
Okay, wonderful. And how will that be handled for the staff?
The staff and the students, we are following the same protocols for both. So it would be the same steps followed for the staff members as well.
So the staff would need to bring you a note from the doctor saying they have allergies and that's normal for them or so forth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes, ma'am.
I got a quick question for you, Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to go on the record and saying I apologize for making the committee meetings. But on this implementation guidelines, does it include the staff that's going to be testing the kids when they come back to school? Is it within the guidelines of the LVNs that are participating and testing all their kids when they're coming back to school?
Yes, sir. So we did through the Texas Department of Emergency Management, Dr. Lazar gave a standing order for all licensed nurses in Texas to be able to provide that testing based on the how the district decides to roll out the program. So every district gets to implement it their own way, but all licensed nurses are able to provide the testing.
Okay, I don't know if it's appropriate time for me to ask, and you can stop me at any time, but from my understanding, and my concern is the volume of staff, having to partake in this testing process. Do we have the staffing capabilities to accommodate?
As of right now, we are the testing administrators on our campuses will be our licensed nurses. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Yes, you are, ma'am. I just want to make sure that we have enough and it's efficient. I just want to make sure we have enough staff to roll out this whole process, because I know it's time consuming, and with more kids coming into the campuses, you know, as we roll out these plans, I think it's very important to keep that in mind. And you know, let's not hesitate to reach out and say that we need more resources at the campus levels, please.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, I want to
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
I appreciate your.
So
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the
Thank you.
most part, I think what he's asking, is there just one person there? Or is there a nurse, an LVN plus, an aide, or?
At each of our campuses, we do, we have one nurse. And at our high school, we have an LVN and an RN. And then in the district, we have one health aide that assists us. She's primarily assigned to Dr. Cash, but she does assist at other campuses if we have someone who is absent that day. So we will currently have, we plan that we will, that amount of staff will be sufficient. However, we will, if we run into any difficulties or anything, we will definitely look into that further.
I want to thank you, Ms. Rodriguez, because I know your staff is going to go through a lot of stress lately, rightfully so. And you guys have done a tremendous job as a staff that you have to accommodate the needs of the district and that keep the safety of all our staff and our kids at the priority. So I want to thank you so much for all your healthcare
Thank you,
professionals.
Mr. Lopez.
Let me ask one more
on the
question,
realm.
if I may. Let me ask
Yes,
one
ma'am.
more question.
And I want to
On
make
a
a
regular,
comment.
basis, how many do you get students that have to be, that have symptoms, or that you maybe think that they have symptoms into the isolation rooms? I mean, how many do we get per day, or maybe per week, or?
Every campus really varies. We, one campus may see 3 students, where we may have another campus that has 7 or 8 or 9 students that go into the isolation room every day. But of course, if you think about the symptoms of COVID, they are very vague, they're very broad. It's a runny nose, sneezing, something like that. That it could be consistent, although they are listed as a symptom of COVID-19, they could be consistent with other illnesses as well.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Rodriguez, if I may make a comment as well, it's a question, is because I kind of got confused with some of these questions, especially when we're talking about the amount. It sounds like we're testing the masses, and that's not the case. I just want the clarification that these tests are available for our district employees, students, what have you, but it's going to be on an as-needed basis. So as far as being equipped with the staff to be able to administer these tests, it's not like they're going to come back to school and we're going to test everyone. It's just on an as-needed basis. If they choose to be tested, and if they are exhibiting symptoms that would warrant them to be tested. Am I correct?
That is correct, Mr. Moreno. And we actually, based on the training that we have, that the nurses have received, we'd actually be able to walk the staff members through the process of testing themselves by through observation and ensuring that it's being done accurately. And so it would be the students more so who we're actually going to be performing the test on, but that would only be if someone is symptomatic or if someone has been deemed to be a close contact.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And also, just to close up, for the public that wasn't able to see the committee meetings last time, can you just explain to the public what we're doing? Because I think that this is something very valuable and very important for the community. So if you can just briefly explain what this is about, and also let them know where they can find the resources, the handbook that you mentioned of the guidelines for the community members, for the parents out there.
Okay, yes, ma'am. So the testing that we will be doing, if it is approved, is called the Binax Now COVID testing. And that was an opportunity provided to us by Governor Abbott and the Texas Department of Emergency Management, which will allow school districts to test staff and students as they deem appropriate. So with our school district, we are rolling out, or we plan to roll out the testing in 4 different phases. And the test itself is is free of charge to staff or students. The results are available within 15 minutes of testing. And so with the phased in approach, our first phase would be for symptomatic staff members only. So if someone presents, if during the day they start saying, I'm not feeling well, I now have a sore throat, or I've had a cough, that staff member would be eligible to receive that test. Our next phase, which of course would include still phase 1, the symptomatic staff members, would be for phase 2. We would be able to test any staff member who has been deemed a close contact. So if a student happens to test positive at school and the teacher is deemed to be a close contact, then that teacher would be eligible to have the COVID testing done. For phase 3, that would be for symptomatic students, the same as staff. Of course, though, we do have to have parental consent prior to doing the testing. And then for phase 4 would be for any students that were identified as close contacts on campus. So the time frame basically for this is just in order to, I know we discussed a little bit of a different time frame during the committee meeting. We are going to push it back just by a couple of days because we are pending approval of this program. And then we need to make, if it is approved this evening, we need to get all of the equipment and supplies and distribute them to all the campuses. So we would start testing for phase 1 next week if it is approved by the board.
Wonderful, Ms. Rodriguez. You're doing a great job. And also, where can the community members, parents find this information?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So if you go on to our district website, sbcisd.net, at the very top, there is a link that says return to school. If you click on that link, it takes you to the most up-to-date TEA guidance, also to Dr. Carmen's reopening progression. And the last one is our return to school plan. And in that document, it lists exactly how all the situations will be handled and what you can expect would happen at each of the campuses if there is someone who is COVID positive or someone who is identified as a close contact. Are there any other questions?
Thank you for all that information.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can I have a motion, please, for to approve 3.6?
I move that
I
we
got it.
approve the San Benito CISD implementation guidelines for Texas K-12 school system, COVID-19 rapid testing.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor by Mr. Moreno. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
I got a second by Ms. Lopez. All in favor of the show of hands? Motion carries. Thank you. Let's move on to action agenda. 4.1, discussion of possible action to revise amended BED local policy. Dr. Carmen?
Yes, sir. This item was placed on the agenda by Board Member Ana Llanes, so I will ask her to go over her recommendation and request.
Okay, well, I did bring this agenda item into the board because currently, of course, every person who desires to make a comment can only do it based on the agenda item that's at the meeting. I think that the community in this recent election has really voiced their concern about us being a little bit more transparent and allowing them to be able to talk openly about any item, whether good or bad. I know that currently our surrounding schools all have this. So we're probably the only ones here in the Valley that do not have this, where they only comment based off of whatever the item is, the agenda item is. So I think to show our transparency, to show our goodwill, to show the wonderful work that this district is doing, whether it's good or whether it's bad, that we ought to allow the community, the constituents, to go ahead and voice their concerns. So I say that we open it up to everyone for anything that they want to comment on, not only just agenda items.
Any other comments?
I'd like to comment on that. I affirm what Ms. Yanis is saying, but by the same token, I'd like to make a clarification. I'm sure that all of us board members are aware of this. I applaud any community member that is willing to come in and make a public comment based on either good or bad or whatever they choose to comment on. However, sometimes there's a misconception out there where our community members may not understand that this is their 3 minutes or their certain amount of time to speak, but it doesn't automatically become an action item. And sometimes they're coming in expecting a response. So I think that if we do change it, that somehow, some way we communicate that, and I'm sure, I mean, it is in the board, in board policy that it's not a comment that's going to necessarily bring about a change right there and then, but it is a very good opportunity for any taxpayer to come in and voice whether positive or negative. So just so long as they understand that you know it's that they cannot expect a judgment or an overturning of anything at that particular moment.
Well, and
Any
I
other
think
comments?
as board members, we need to listen attentively and respectfully, because
I agree.
this seat that we currently are sitting at, or this position that we currently have, does not belong to us. We have to keep that in mind, that when we're listening to somebody that's either a tax dollar payer, a taxpayer, or a parent or something. So we need to be listening and be respectful of what they have to say also. And keeping in mind that we are the voices of this community, and we need to listen attentively and respectfully, like I've said. Thank you.
And I'd like to make
Very well said.
a comment to add on to that. You know, the Constitution gives us the freedom of speech, right? And so as a board member myself personally, I would not want to oblige, you know, or impede anyone from speaking up, because I think that any positive comments are always welcomed. You know, we want that praise. We want, you know, people to come and tell us, hey, this is going on at this campus. That's great. We love it, you know, while at the same time providing that constructive criticism that will help our district improve. I mean, just recently this week, I communicated with the superintendent certain things, and he took rapid action. He took care of it, you know, and I commend him for that too. And so I think that as we open up the public speaking, so that the public can come and speak to us about any issues that they might have concerns of, I think that that's gonna make it better for our community, because I did get a lot of community members out, you know, when I would run into them, they would say, hey, you all need to bring back public comment. So, you know, I agree on that we need to bring it without obstructing it and letting them voice their concerns and not have to be limited to only what the agenda says. So thank you, Ms. Yanis, for bringing this to the agenda.
Any other comments?
Well, we've always had the public comment, which is good, you know, and also there has to be, you know, also to be able to, you know, follow the rules and everything. So, which is good, you know, as long as we follow that we're supposed to be doing and being respectful and, you know, doing the best that we can, and, you know, and not getting out of place, out of, you know, tune. So, which is good, you know, having a public comment is good. And, you know, we've always had it. So, you know, because it is very important, and you're right, you know, we're put here by the citizens, and, you know, they depend on us to keep us, you know, so we can help them out and do what's best for the district and our community, which is, you know, it's public comment is very important during a meeting, but then to have respect and to, you know, have it going into, you know, the right way, not to be fighting or arguing or belittling people and everything, which is, you know, we always have, you know, to have respect for everybody. Thank
Right.
you.
I think one of the things is, you know, previously the reason why this was all done was, I mean, if you look at some of our neighboring schools, you know, school districts didn't have public comment when we always did. I think one of the things that happened, and it happened several times, where you have student recognition, staff recognition, and then you have public comment. Okay, so I know, and I can attest to other board members as well. That's the reason why it was voted the way it was because parents were very upset and very disgusted at the political platform that they were using to belittle the school district and certain administrators and board members as well. So it was brought to our attention that we're extremely upset about it, and they said you guys need to do something about it because it's shadowing the successes of our school district just because people want to use it as a political platform. By no means has this board ever denied anybody the opportunity to speak. It was moved for a reason. If it's so important, then they can say it at the end of the meeting. Because like Mr. Moreno said, you're not going to make an action. It's not an action item anyway. So if it's that important, then they'll stay and discuss what they need to say after we give our recognition to all our wonderful kids that their parents sent to this school district, okay, and support the school district. But when we have that political platform constantly, weekend or whenever the board meetings occur, come out of public comment and just continue to do that, it becomes a very, very unsettling situation. So that's the reason why this whole situation was brought about. When it was passed, when the bill was passed, they give two options. They say either you allow it to open up again or just talk about business at hand. So not one time did we go against anybody's anybody's right. All we did was say, okay, if it's so important, then talk about business at hand. And you know what? And at the end of the day, before we're making decisions and the public comments in the beginning, then you know what? They can change. The committee members can come in and have an opinion on the business at hand. It can potentially change the board member's mind about how they're going to vote if it's what they want. So that's the reason why it was done this way. And it's because we listened very carefully to our parents, and they were not happy with what they were seeing as far as public comment is concerned. So it's been, this whole COVID situation, of course, subsided all this. So, it's up to the board members, as far as, how they want to take this. I want to thank Ms. Yanis for bringing it up. It's a good conversation. And, but, at the end of the day, we got to vote on it. So it's put on the agenda. So any other comments?
Yes, I'd like to add on to that. When people come to me, sometimes they say, I'm sorry to bother you. I say, you're not a bother at all. If the problem is not fixed, let me know, and we'll look into it. Okay. So for the community to bring up the same topic again and again, that's not a problem to me, because that's what we're here for. We work for the community. We work for the taxpayers, and this is a position they gave us, and we're here to represent them. So I will never get tired of a person complaining about the same thing or providing constructive criticism that needs to be taken care of. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
With
you,
one
ma'am, for your
other
comment.
note, in case the public doesn't know, we do not get paid for having this position, because
Thank
there's
you
a
for
lot of
making that,
people.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I say that because very respectfully to our audience, to
Right.
the taxpayers, that we're here when we got elected, but it's not that we're here to get money. We're here volunteering, trying to make our district better. Any positive recommendations or anything that they can tell us positively, and also, yes, negatively, yes, we will listen to it, because that's how we make ourselves better. But I do want to tell them that we're not getting paid because I've had a lot of people that said, how much are you getting paid? So we're not getting paid one penny. So I thought
we're policymakers. We're trying to help with the policymakers. That's the main thing for us as board members. That's what we're here for.
Right. So just to make it very clear, Ms. Yanis, thank you. We don't work for the school district. So we take concerns and we take it up to the chain of command and let them deal with it. So that's one thing that we all need to practice.
Yes, I just wanted to say that because I've had a lot of people that have said that here in
Yes.
the last couple
Yes.
of weeks.
Yeah.
So just in
Okay.
case.
So right. So for the new board members right now, there's two options. Okay. I'm assuming. So it's either the policy stays the same, where it's business at hand, or it changes. Okay. That's exactly what this agenda item reads. So I'm going to ask for a vote right now. 4.1, discussion and possible action to revise the amended BED local policy. Can I have a motion on the floor? I got a motion by Ms. Yanis. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Lopez. Can I have, with a show of hands, who approves of the change? Show of hands, please. Okay, so there's 3 against. Okay, motion denied. It's going to stay as is. Let's go on to a discussion
Mr.
item
Lopez.
5.1.
For the record, can you say who was a yes and who was a no? Is that allowed?
Absolutely.
Yes, it
Well, there
is.
was three, there was three that was for. It was for the change, Ms. Lopez, Mr. Moreno, and Ms. Yanis. And there was four that opposed that showed it with a show of hands. So there was four people that raised their hands. So it was myself, Ms. Weaver, Mr. Corona, and Ms. Silva. Thank you. Let's move on to a discussion item, 5.1, discussion of trustees technology resources. Dr. Carmen?
Yes, sir, Mr. Lopez. Ms. Lopez had asked for this agenda item to be placed on here for discussion regarding the technology resources for our trustees. I don't know if there's still something she would like to discuss. I think we came to a solution regarding what she was asking for. Ms. Lopez, is there still a discussion you wanted to have on this?
No, sir, we can move on.
Well, I
Thank you.
I have a comment on this, Doc. I mean, this has never been put on the agenda before for discussion. Normally, everybody gets one iPad. So can you please provide to the board and our community what has been given out to the trustees or to Ms. Lopez? Did she put it on the agenda, please?
Certainly. Might be better if I just indicate all the trustees. We make one iPad available to each trustee. We make MiFi available, so there's internet coverage if trustees need it. We have not given those to the new trustees yet, as we had a problem with two and had to order two, so we're holding off so everybody gets it at the same time. Due to our situation here with us meeting remotely due to the pandemic, we offered printers to each of our board members so they could print the agendas and any documents they might want in preparation for the meetings and at their home. I think 6 out of 7 board members, everyone but our board president, Mr. Lopez, I think took that printer so they could do so. Following that, I had a request from Ms. Lopez. She asked if we had a laptop with the understanding it was needed or wanted during the remote time that we're meeting remotely. Since it's a temporary situation, she understood that there was no need to buy one. We simply checked with technology to see if they had a loaner. They did. Of course, the new ones are with our employees or our students, so it's a loaner. It's not going to be a brand new computer. Then the question came back from Ms. Lopez because there was no webcam on it. So we were able to find a webcam, a small webcam that attaches to the laptops that was not being used. So there was still no additional expense to the district, which was my point, because we know it's a temporary situation. But we provided that to Ms. Lopez actually right before tonight's meeting. And based on her interaction, I'm guessing it's working correctly. But that's the technology that we have provided to our board members, sir.
Yes, thank
Great,
you.
Doc. And also I wanted to go above and beyond.
We need to have a workstation, as board members, like Ms. Yanis mentioned, we don't get paid to do this, but we do need to be able to do our work diligently and effectively. And so the laptop didn't have a camera, and so they got me a portable camera to go with it. I don't know if y'all are hearing static when I talk, so I don't know if that's an issue or not, but I hear it on my side. No? Okay, all right, so as long as y'all don't hear it. But that was the situation where, we as board members need to be able to have the technology to be able to provide the services, be able to look at policies, be able to, right now, I have you all on the left side of my screen. I have the Zoom and I can see all of you all. And then on the right side, I have the board docs and policies open in case a policy is brought upon, as a question or something, then I can pull it up. With the iPad by itself, what would happen is if I needed to look at board docs or if I needed to look at policies, then it would give you all a black window where to me, for the community, I need them to know transparency, right? That I'm here, I'm available, I'm looking at you all, but with the iPad, when I would click out of it to go to board docs or to policies, it would give a black screen. And so that's not the implication that I wanted to give to the community. And that's why, the laptop is more useful than the iPad. The iPad is a little bit more for convenience, but to me, for a workstation, to be able to do this job, the laptop was more beneficial. So thank you, Dr. Carmen, for taking care of that. I appreciate it.
Also want to go,
Yes, ma'am.
also, Doc, I want to say that, our staff here, our IT staff and Ms. Peggy, the superintendent secretary, has always gone above and beyond since this whole COVID situation started to make sure that that every single board member has these documents here in front. So that's pretty much the agenda in itself. and as far as any agenda item or attachments that you need, that they can print them out also. So I just want to make sure that it's clarity on that the board members do have the resources they need to do their public serving as far as they're on the school board assembly CISD. On another note, I think it's very important at this moment in time to also tell the us board members, sometimes there is technology issues. I mean, it is what it is. It's everybody's using Zoom right now and all different other kinds of avenues of streaming of meetings. And but if our kids and our teachers can do it, so can we. So I think it's very important to make sure that we just all work together and make sure that yes, the whole situation gets rectified, because having 2 or 3 devices, I think it's just not being efficient with our resources when especially our kids and are needing Wi-Fi's and all that other stuff. So I just want to go on the record on saying that. So I want to thank you, Dr. Carmen, and thank Ms. Peggy for providing us with all the resources. Thank you for that.
Dr.
let's move
Carmen,
on
if
to-
I may, I did want to say something real quick.
Yes, sir.
The day after we were sworn in, when we did meet with you, you did offer us all a printer, and we thank you for that. But I did at that moment say I did need one, but going back on that, I just want to, for the record, I did not take no printer. I don't need it after all. I have my own printer at home. I'm able to print everything. Plus, the ladies here are excellent. All I do is call them ahead of time, and they already have a copy for me here. So as far as one iPad and the copies, I'm sufficient. Thank you.
And
Thank you
just
for
to
that
add another
clarification.
comment, just to add to another, a little bit more to that, when we're dealing with employees' personal information, you got social security numbers, paychecks, finances, you're dealing with student information. It's important for us to be able to have the right resources that the district provided so that all of that information can be protected. Confidentiality is important for our staff and for our students. And so thank you once again, Dr. Carmen, for providing the technology that was necessary, because using personal equipment, personal items at home, that always opens up the door to viruses and people hacking into our systems. And so when the district provides it and they put their protections on there, that's a lot better for the staff and the students.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to close meeting in accordance with the Texas Government Code. Open meeting that the board may move into closed session for 551-071 for the purpose of private consultation with board's attorney for any and all subjects or matters authorized by law. Section 551-074 for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear complaints or changes against a public officer or employee. 6.1 employees' resignations or retirements. 6.2 discussion of private consultation with attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigations, settlement matters, and or matters where the professional duties under the state board requires private consultation with a school district attorney. And at this, we retrieve into executive session at exactly 7:02 p.m. Okay, we'll reconvene back to open session at exactly 7:50 p.m. We move on to agenda item 7.2, actions and matter discussed in closed session. 6.1 employment resignations and retirement. Dr. Carmen.
Yes, sir. Mr. Lopez, I would recommend to the board they approve the employment resignations and retirements as discussed in executive session.
Can I have a motion, please?
So move.
I got a motion by Ms. Weaver. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Lopez. All in favor with a show of hands? Motion carries. Thank you. Let's move on to adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So move.
I got a motion by Ms. Yes, ma'am. I got a motion by Ms. Weaver. Can I have a second?
Second.
I got a second by Mr. Corona. All in favor with a show of hands? Okay. We adjourn this meeting at exactly 7:51 p.m. Thank you all. Stay safe. Take care.